So right now guys, I'm going to show you some very interesting scenario that might be unfolding next for Bitcoin price action. Because if you monitor this price structure starting in a daily time frame, on my previous video I gave you two different scenarios that was important for Bitcoin here in a daily time frame. The first one was this rising wedge, right? Because you can see the lower line which previously acted as a strong support was unable to hold the price. We saw some price pullback, and when the price tried to re-enter this rising wedge, the same line which previously acted as a support acted as a resistance, and that's why I added another scenario which was known as falling wedge. And I said to you guys, if the price of Bitcoin wants to continue here in an upper direction, we have to break out of this upper line area of this falling wedge. So let me remove this drawing here guys. This upper line is actually holding the price and it's not letting to break out from here. So that's why I say to you guys, if this resistance is going to be there and also the price of Bitcoin is going to fail to follow this rising trend line here, then we could see some potential downward price movement, and this downward price movement could bring us around this 48,000 price level, because this 48,000 was this monthly CPR price level. So if this is going to fail, you can see then we are also going to leave this bottom CPR and we could be heading towards this red line, and this red line is the monthly support line for this May month, and that is sitting around 48,262 price level. For us, this is a very important scenario. So that's why guys, that's why for Bitcoin we have to hold this rising trend line, and also if we add this moving averages, the 50 exponential moving average and 21 exponential moving average, you can see these two lines are also holding the price of Bitcoin at this current stage. So that's why guys, that's why we have to stay above this rising trend line and also this exponential moving average that is sitting around 55,200 to 55,900 price level for Bitcoin. And if this is going to be another scenario and price is actually going to get a very strong support from this 50 exponential and also this 21 exponential moving average and break out of this resistance line, right, a possible movement, then what kind of price movement are we expecting here? Because if you look at this price structure here in a bit different way guys, let me show you this in a 4-hour time frame. And also guys, I would really appreciate if you could take just 2 seconds of your time and destroy that like button, and for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button and the bell. What we can do here is we can simply take this Fibonacci retracement from this swing high till this swing low level, because if you monitor the price structure here, you can see this 0.618 is not just only acting as a resistance in a weekly time frame, but also here in a smaller time frame. So that's why I said you breaking this 0.618 is going to be some very impulsive move for Bitcoin in a weekly time frame and also here in a smaller time frame, because exactly around that area you can see we are finding some difficulty to break out of here. So that's why guys, what we are going to do now, we are going to simply add this trend line here, because this trend line is one very strong resistance line for Bitcoin at this current stage, because this is also the area where we have a strong resistance. So now you can see along with this Fibonacci level, we also have a upper line acting as a resistance from this ascending triangle, because if we look at this price structure without this Fibonacci extension label, you can see this does looks like a very nice ascending triangle in a 4-hour time frame. So that's why if this support is going to be there, because we are aware we do have a strong support from this 50 exponential moving average and 21 exponential moving average in a daily time frame, and if that support is going to hold along with this trend line here to the downside from this ascending triangle, you can see right this lower line acted as a strong support. So now what to expect next for Bitcoin? Because if this scenario is going to play out guys, then I'm actually expecting some very impulsive move to follow for Bitcoin and also make a new all-time high. Why? Because if we look at this from February, you can see pretty similar scenario also unfolded. We can take the Fibonacci extension from this swing high till the swing low level. We had a pretty similar scenario. I mean, price found a very strong resistance from this 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level, because if you focus here around this 0.618, we did saw some resistance once we tried to break out of it, resistance again once we tried to break out of it. And this scenario also indicated, hey, the price of Bitcoin was actually finding a strong resistance from this 0.618, and not just only this 0.618, but also if we do the similar scenario just like what we are witnessing right now with our price action of Bitcoin, you can see guys, all right, this is a pretty similar scenario. I'm in the price of Bitcoin also formed a very nice ascending triangle which got a rejection from this 0.618. And once when we were able to break out of it, guys, you can see the price of Bitcoin also made a new all-time high, because after that we saw some really nice impulsive move for Bitcoin. Just like with our current scenario, this price structure and this price structure is actually showing a pretty similar scenario. So if the support is going to be here, right, then we are going to see some very impulsive move following for Bitcoin in the coming days, and any sort of a rejection from this lower line area, right, and also the 50 exponential moving average along with this 21 exponential moving average, then we are going to focus around this price level here to the downside. That could bring us around this monthly S1 level for this May month, and that is around 48,262 price level. So these are some of the scenarios I see right now looking at the price action of Bitcoin in a daily time frame and also in a 4-hour time frame. Now let's have a quick look at Ether price action. And also, guys, let me make you aware, BYBIT right now is providing around $1,610 deposit bash bonus, and this one is for limited time only. The only thing you have to do is sign up using my ref link down below. The sign up process would take you only 2 or 3 minutes of your time. After signing up, just go to promotion and click on the latest promotion. $1,610 reward up for grabs. Click on this $1,010 bonus for new users in the deposit bonus bash page. Up to $100 in reward hub and 500 worth of bonus are available in the referral program. Click on this deposit bonus bash. This page should appear after that. How you can claim your bonuses, the rules and terms, and just click on join now. So now if we start this analysis by looking at the price action of Ethereum in a smaller time frame, what we can do here is, guys, we can simply add this rising trend line that is acting as a very strong support line for Ether here in a smaller time frame. Why? Because you can see here, whenever the price of Ether saw a pullback, it came and tested this lower line area, and after that it found a very nice support and saw some impulsive move here in an upper direction. So right now, as you can see, the price of Ether could also be getting gravitated towards the lower line that is sitting around 3,400 price level. So if the support is going to be there here, right, then I'm actually expecting some impulsive move to follow for Ether again. Why? Because if you have watched my previous video, I also said you guys this scenario here was actually forming a very nice symmetrical triangle, right? Without this rising line, you can see this does looks like a very nice symmetrical triangle. That's why on my previous video I said you, if we are going to break out of this upper line of this symmetrical triangle, we might see some impulsive move. And look at this, we broke out of it and we also made a new all-time high for Ethereum. So that's why, guys, that's why if this is going to be a pretty similar scenario, let me show you one more time with this rising trendline scenario. So if this is going to be a pretty similar scenario here, then breaking out of this rising trend line, which is acting as a resistance, just like here, right, you can see we could expect some impulsive move. So that's why for Ether, if we break out of this rising trend line and find support above it, I am actually expecting another impulsive move to follow, just like here, guys. And any sort of a rejection, right, any sort of a failure to find support at this rising trend line, where we could be heading, or what kind of scenario to unfollow. Because if we look at this price structure here, right, and if this price is not going to find support at this rising trend line, then this price could actually form a head and shoulder pattern. Because if you look at this head and shoulder, you can see here in a smaller time frame, this is actually showing us that, hey, if this is going to follow, right, the price of Ether could see some downward price movement here. Because if that's going to happen, we could see some price pullback around this 3,200 3,220 price level here to the downside. And why this is so important, because I said you, this rising trend line is so far our strongest support, and if this is going to fail, our price target, which I just showed you, 3,200 3,220 here to the downside. And why this price level could also make sense if this rising trend line is not going to hold the price anymore. Because if you look at this here in a daily time frame, you can see here, guys, the price of Ether followed this rising trend line or so-called ascending channel pretty well. If you monitor the price structure, this upper line acted as a strong resistance here from this rising channel. Lower line acted as a strong support. But once when we were able to break out of it, you can see we came back to retest this trend line here. You can see, guys, broke out of it, came back to retest it. So now if this is going to be a pullback type of scenario, then we are aware the same line which previously acted as a resistance plenty of time is going to be acting as a very strong support exactly around this 3,200 price level, which I just showed you. So if this downward target is going to play out, then we are still aware that that doesn't mean the Ether trend is going to reverse, because we do have a very strong support from this upper line area, from this rising channel. So guys, these are some of the scenarios I see right now looking at the price action of Bitcoin and Ethereum. If you enjoyed my work, then please hit the like button, and for those individuals watching me for the first time, hit that subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye guys.